This is VP with Metaverse News 1, and the day has arrived. Here we are, January 6, 2023. It has begun. What we've been waiting for a long time. Now, let's just jump right into things here. This is going to be all about strategy, as you know. We're going to dive deeper into that in just a bit. But what's going on is we have Season 0 that's going to last all the way to the 21st of February. This is really good. We can make all the mistakes we want to make right here because it means absolutely nothing, because everything we do is going to get wiped on that day. I like this a lot. Because what we can really do is try a bunch of different things, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, and find out what works best. So we can start operating at max efficiency here, because this is when we can actually get the main goal of this entire Illuvium playlist, and that's blueprints, because blueprints are money. We hope. And then after that, they wipe the data except for the blueprints. We get to keep those. And then we start the beta, which I guess is the real deal. I'm not quite sure about that. But I would assume that by then we should be pretty much ready to go. So that's the good. Before we start, let me go ahead and go over the one thing that I really don't like. Okay, I found it right here. We finally got an answer to the question we have been wanting to know for a very long time. Unfortunately, it is not the answer we wanted at all. This is what we were afraid of. So right here, he's asking Johnny, can you give us any hints at what kind of blueprints we found during the Alpha Season 1? I'm expecting like a low-tier skin blueprints or something, but my mind starts to wonder, what if these blueprints are amazing and really cool and rare? Which, that's what they should be giving us for being early landholders. That was part of the deal, right? Now, they didn't specify on what kind, in all fairness, but we did have to wait longer than we were supposed to wait, and we kept the faith and we held on, so we would get something really great out of that, right? Think again. They're definitely not rare. They will likely be the most common, given that there are 15 of them, and we expect most landholders to get many, if not all of them. And they're all tier 1s, which means they're not going to be worth anything. If everybody has them, then they're super common, and you're not going to be able to sell the skins for really anything at all. Maybe 3-4 years from now, when they're heirlooms, they might be worth more. Who knows? But thumbs down on this one, Illuvium. You should own this. A lot of people bought land during the Dutch auction on the pretense that we'd be getting some really great reward as a result. Now, I do think that being able to play Illuvium Zero is a really great reward in itself, but a lot of us had bigger expectations on those blueprints than we ended up getting. It did not have to be this way. Okay, we got the negative out of the way. Let's get excited. Let's move on. So I know we haven't done this in a while. For those who are new to my channel, let me remind you what I have here. Now, ignore this right here. This is just the chance of an alluvial popping up on your land, which is going to be totally irrelevant all throughout Illuvium Zero Alpha, and probably most of the beta after that. But I have 7 lands, and the ones in blue are tier 1. The ones in gray are tier 2. Now, my strategy here was to get the most amount of land I could get to, for the money I had to spend, so I could get the maximum amount of chances to get blueprints. Now, why didn't I get all tier 1s then? Well, because you really run the risk of running out of fuel that way. Now, we really don't know how it's all going to go down, but I went ahead and got this ratio here, 3 tier 1s and 4 tier 2s, just to make sure I didn't have to sit there and buy fuel out of pocket. If I can be self-sufficient and just be able to, harvest the fuel that I need to do whatever I need to do, that's perfect. All right, so that was the goal. Now, today, for what it's worth, we're only going to be focusing on tier 1. I have 3 lands there, and that's perfect to do what we need to do. I think once we start getting into tier 2, it's going to get muddy. I might do another video just on the tier 2 lands, because I have a lot of work to do today. We have to sit there and max out all 7 of these, but we're only going to focus on these 3. Now, what are we going to do with these 3? I'll show you. Okay, now before we get to the actual game, like I said before, we're taking a very measured approach. So I want to go over exactly what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish here exactly before we actually start playing the game. Remember, we are strategists here. So overall, what we're doing, if I didn't already make it obvious 100 times, is we want blueprints because I personally think this is where the biggest upside is in terms of earning potential. This entire channel is more focused on earning money than it is actually, having fun with the game or the graphics or the communal aspect. This is my primary focus. So if it is your primary focus as well, or even if it's part of your focus, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell. Don't miss anything because this is what we're all about. No other channel is dedicated to making money in this game like we are. It is our sole focus, and I think more than fuel or more than selling alluvials or more than anything else, this is where the highest upside is. We could be horrendously disappointed. People might not want skins. The skins we might be able to get are maybe not very good. The skins we're able to obtain may not be all that great. There are no guarantees here, but I am willing to put my money down and give it a real try. And you can watch me succeed or fail, but at least you will know. Now, in Illuvium Zero Alpha, we want to take this time to find the maximum levels of efficiency. All right, that's really important here. How can we build things in the most efficient way possible to get to scanners as fast as humanly possible? Because the scanners are where the blueprints come from. What is the quickest route to get to right here? That is the main thing we want to know, because after this initial alpha gets wiped, then the road to blueprints officially begins. And even though they're not going to be the best blueprints, that's fine. We play the long game here, and we understand that getting this strategy down, regardless of how long it takes, is going to pay huge dividends later on. Now for today, you already saw my spreadsheet. I have 3 Tier 1 and 4 Tier 2 plots. We're only going to focus on the Tier 1. I think those are the easiest to see. And really anything you can do on a Tier 1, you can extrapolate out into a Tier 2, Tier 3, and above. If any of you guys are interested in what I'm doing with my Tier 2s, I might make a video on that as well. But for right now, I think the most helpful thing to do for everybody, regardless if you're a landowner or not, or if you have a little bit or if you have a lot, is to focus on this Tier 1 and the 3 that I have. Now, I have checked out the game a little bit, and I've watched Skoriox's video, like I said. And you do get a free one. You get a free Tier 1 that's on Shard Bluff. I'm not going to mess with that one because in the real game, I might not have it. I actually don't think I'm going to have it. So I don't want it factoring in. I don't want it messing up my little science experiment here. So I'm only going to be focusing on the plots that I actually have, and I'm only going to be building on those. I'll screw around here and make sure I understand the commands and the buttons and things like that, and I'll do that in a little bit, not in front of you, because I don't want to waste your time. But I'm just going to use the free one for that purpose, and then really get to the strategy part up here. I'm sorry. So if you don't see me ever go to the free Shard Bluff one, that's the reason why. So the game plan is as follows. We won't be taking this much time on the PowerPoint most days, but I just want to get you guys ready here. So I'm going to take, we're going to have to answer a question here. Is this building better here or is this building better here? Should we spend our money here or should we spend our money over here? So if I have a binary question like that, I'm going to do one thing on one plot and then do the complete opposite on another plot, and then see which one gives us the right answer. Once we have that right answer, I'm going to take what I believe to be the most efficient route and put it on the third plot. So remember, I have 3 Tier 1s. We're going to try one thing here, we're going to try the opposite thing here, find out which one's right, and then put it here. Simple deductive reasoning. Now those questions that we want to answer, I'm going to let you know the majority of them right now, just so we can have a little bit of this knowledge ahead of time. First of all, where do I put the nexus? The nexus is the very first building you must build on your land. It allows you to make other buildings. And I would like to know, does location matter? Like I said, Skoriox had a great video that lasted about 2 hours where he just threw a bunch of stuff at the wall and just kind of saw what happened. He just really kind of played with it. He didn't spend too much on the strategy aspect of it. He probably will later, but he was just kind of getting the feel for the game in the live stream. So this question was not answered. Do I need to put the nexus near a bunch of resources or processing plants? Or is it better served just way the hell off in the distance? You know, this is kind of an important question because this is the first building you put down, and it's going to determine where a lot of other buildings end up. So that's a big one. And at any point in time, if you have anything to add in terms of questions or suggestions, put them down in the comments section. Like I said, we're all in this together. We need to pool our brain power here and find out what's best. You know, we strategy-minded people need to stick together here. Another question I want to know, and this is big, because this goes a lot in line with what we did with Illuvium Overworld. You know, I said, let's not just go out and start fighting. Let's try to buff our character up as much as we can, get our Ranger and our Mozart really strong, and also get a bunch of resources collected before we go out. You know, it's not the most popular approach, but I thought that was going to be the best approach because then I would never run out of shards, I would never be overwhelmed in battle, and that's exactly what happened. It turned out to be the best approach, and that's the approach I'm going to use going forward. And I want to know, in Illuvium Zero, is it best just to take some of those core buildings and upgrade them as much as I can? Or is it best to just get as many buildings out there and get as much resources harvested right away as I can, and then upgrade with those resources later? That's a big question. We'll get that answer today too. Also, storage is an interesting one. You can build buildings that give you more storage capacity. When do you need to build those? Is it smart to build those right away? Or should we go ahead and focus on other things first and build storage when we reach that max capacity? Which method makes more sense? Also, every plot has these plants everywhere that kind of get in the way, and you actually get credits for clearing plants out. On one of my lands, I'm going to clear everything. On the other one, I'm just going to clear like one plant and see what it does. You know, this is kind of a more minor question, but I still want it answered. And then the last one is kind of weird because it's going to apply to me different than it is other people. And how necessary are converters is the last question, at least off the bat, that I want answered. Converters, if you don't know, what I think they are, is let's say none of your land has any carbon on it. That sucks because you're going to have to go buy carbon every time you need it. Or are you? Maybe you can take excess hydrogen, use a converter, and turn that hydrogen into carbon. Now, you guys saw my layout in terms of elements, and I'm pretty good there. I should not be lacking anything. I'm a little low on hydrogen myself, but it's not like I have zero of any resource. So I'm thinking a guy like me might not really need converters that badly. But I don't know that for sure. So I want that question answered too. So in the future, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on the PowerPoint. I just wanted to get everybody on the same page now and let you know what my goals are before we actually get there, so we're not just sitting there trying to do it on the fly. But I have a feeling if you're a strategy-minded person, you're probably very meticulous like I am, and you prefer to know what our strategy actually is before going into battle. But without further ado, let's battle. Okay, because this is day one, I don't know if this is the very first Illuvium Zero video of the day you're going to watch, so I'm going to go over some basic controls here. I said I wasn't going to mess with this too much, and I'm really not, and I'm going to separate this into chapters, so if you already know the basic controls, you can skip this part, but for those of you who don't know, let's just go over this now and get it out of the way. So you have up here all your stats. You have carbon, silicon, hydrogen, and then your 3 fuels. Over here, it's nice. You can sit there and see all of your plots. Now, I thought the free-to-play plot was going to be a tier 1. It's not. It's more of a tier 2 size, but it has all sorts of crap on it. So we're going to look at that in a minute. And then I can just, if I click any of these at any time, it will take me right there. So that's super, super nice. So we get out of there. Biodata and blueprints doesn't matter yet. Settings, if you want to make changes to the volume, I already did that. I always put the music very low because it gets in the way. Info, doesn't really matter. But if you want any of those type of back-end settings, they're all right here. You can also log out from here as well. Goals. Very interesting. You get rewards for doing things, and these rewards are pretty sweet. I would probably suggest that we do our best to hit these. I'm pretty sure with 7 plots, we're going to hit them. These also might be plot specific, and if they are, that's just that many more rewards you get. So you got daily, then you got weekly as well. Shoot, I mean, nothing to claim, but this is really nice. If they have this in the main game, you bet. I'm already going to be playing this every day, but it just gives you another reason to make sure you're on top of this all the time. Super cool. Activity just says what you've done, which for us, for who are trying to figure out maximum efficiency, this screen is going to be very important. By the way, I'm just using a regular mouse. If I click left or right, it does the exact same thing. So don't worry about that. Build. This is where you build your paths, the roads around certain structures, which is important. Johnny's already said the more roads you build around your structures, the more efficient they are. Shop is not ready yet, so that's going to be irrelevant. As is this right here. This is what you spend at the shop. So it might be nice to collect these, but for right now, it's not important. And then these are your structures. And they are separated between the basics, your actual miners that get things out of the ground, those converters we talked about, the storage we talked about, research facilities, which is kind of the big unknown here, and then anything else that might apply. So we have a long way to go before I think we get here. But I'm really interested to see which one of these is the most important in terms of what we need to build first. But that'll be for another day. What else? You can click these and it tells you what it is. So that's a lake. And if you didn't know what a lake was, it will tell you. Thank you for that. There are Krypton rifts all over the place. Look how many there are. This is not what you can expect from a typical Tier 2 land. But you got that. That's a Hyperion reservoir. All sorts of cool stuff here. But those are your basic controls. I think if you know those, you can do some damage. So now that you know those, let's go do some damage. Okay, here we are at Crystal Shores. Looks really nice. I don't care too much about aesthetics compared to some people. I just want to make money, but that's okay. Let me go ahead and give you an overview here. I'm as zoomed out as far as I can possibly zoom out. And this is what a Tier 1 land looks like in terms of size. Now we need to answer the question of plants, and you can click on one and decide to clear it. I'm going to clear every plant on this board. I'm not going to make you watch me do it, but I want a complete blank space to build. And the only thing I'm sacrificing here is time, it appears. Did it cost me anything to do that? Click that. Nope, didn't cost anything. So that's cool. I'm going to go ahead and clear some of these plants out. And then once I do that, we're going to come back and see what we got. Ooh, actually, one thing I just noticed. Watch this. So I'm going to clear this out. And as it's going, let's say I want to clear this one out too. I can do that, but I got to burn up a credit. Interesting. I don't want to do that yet. But if you want to maximize your time, it gives you that option. Pretty cool. And then once it's ready to go, you just click that and it's gone. By the way, you will be hearing police sirens and certain beepings outside my window. I apologize for this in advance. I live half-mile away from a main road and about 20 stories high, and the microphone still picks up these police sirens. So just know it's on my end, not yours. Don't panic, but just is what it is. I'm going to finish clearing these plants and we'll get to it. Okay, I only have one plant left to clear. I want to show you something real quick. Like I said, you get one of these every time you clear a plant, which is cool. And you can't spend them in the shop, so you can really just spend them to make things go faster. Which for a guy with 7 lands, and 4 of them being Tier 2s, I think this is going to come into play. But look at this too. This shows you 1 out of 1 of what you have currently going on. So 1 building out of 1 allowed is going on right now, which means you can't do anything else unless you want to spend one of these. So if you're wondering what that was all about, now you know. Also, you might notice this over here. We got a little notification on our goals. You get rewards for clearing plants. Now my question is, should I claim this now or should I sit on it? Let's see, how much hydrogen do I have? I have a decent amount. You know, we can sit on that for a little bit. Doesn't really matter when we claim it. But let's see what we're dealing with here. Now, all my resources and fuel sources are right here, which is nice. Got your Hyperion there. That's going to be our main fuel source. We're going to have 2 carbon outcrops and then 1 crystal deposit. Good to know. So, because these things are all kind of close together, I need to know where to put my nexus. So I think for here, I want to know if it benefits me to put it kind of like in the middle of things instead of super far away. So on this plot, on Crystal Shores, we'll put it right in the heart of the action here. And on a different plot, we'll put it super far away. So let's go to build. And I don't want to put it right on top of the mines, but we'll put it fairly close by, but not like super out of the way, but close, and see what that does. This is going to be tough too because we're right at the border. Things might be a little crunched here, but hey, all for the love of the game, right? Let's build it. And that's good because it's also by the fuel deposit. Perfect. Let's check out what's in store. What does that mean? I don't know. So if I click on this, I can move it, upgrade it, which that's a question we need to answer too. Info, and this airdrop, I saw this on Scoriox's video. Every day, you can get a reset of these elements here if you need them. Pretty cool. I don't need them yet though. But I will take them if they give them to me, but I want to sit on that for a little bit. Now what this does, it allows you to build other things. You're going to need an engineering workshop. I don't quite know what that does, but we're going to learn. And it allows 5 structures. If you upgrade, it allows more. We're certainly going to need to upgrade it. So let's answer that question now. In this particular land on Crystal Shores, let's have this be the one to where we focus on upgrading more than anything else. Upgrade before we build. Let's try that out. So that cost us quite a bit of carbon. Looks like we're pretty good elsewhere. Let's go ahead and build that engineering workshop. What can we build? Really just the engineering workshop right now, right? Yeah, that's a prerequisite for pretty much everything. So let's go ahead and build that. What's going on here? It's back here. Uh-oh, what's happening? Let's cancel out. So I guess it does need to connect to the Nexus, but I can't get to it if it's back there. Okay, good. Now I can move it around. I don't think an engineering workshop really needs to be near anything like this, so we're going to kind of put it in the back. The idea being build the non-essential buildings kind of back here in this open void, and then build the essential ones near the resource pits. So let's do that. Let's see, I want to be efficient with the roads, so let's put it right there. And it looks like we're doing okay. And there we go. And as you can see, we've already hit other goals as well. Having trouble scrolling down, but like I said, we'll claim this as we need it, but it's really nice to have here because we don't want to run out of resources. You know, and if all I had was maybe 1 or 2 tier 1 plots, you know, this is really going to come in handy. But let's move over to another plot of land and kind of location-wise do the opposite of what we did here, just to get this out of the way. So which one do we want to do? Let's just go to our Shard Bluff, not the free-to-play Shard Bluff, but our tier 1 Shard Bluff, and go there. Now what's interesting is all of these resources reset. Very interesting. I think people were wondering, hey, you know, I don't have, like for example, I don't have any hydrogen on this plot. I do on other plots. Can I use that hydrogen for this? Maybe in Illuvium Zero Alpha you can't. I know they have something on the Illuvidex where you can exchange one for another, but I don't know if that's active yet. If it is, we'll make a video on it. But for now, ignore the plants. I'm only going to get rid of one and see what that does. And I'm going to leave all the other ones just to see how necessary it is. Now, if you look at my resources, I have Crystal Deposit here, here, Hyperion here, Outcrop there. Get rid of that. And I wonder if the goals reset too. They do. Wow, you get a fresh set of goals for every land. It's almost like playing a whole other game. That's really nice because now you can just build, build, build. I wonder if that's going to be the exact same on the real version of the game or not. Interesting to know. But this is the whole of the land here. That's what we're dealing with. And I like the fact that these are where they are because now I can build my nexus way the hell over here and see if it makes a difference. Actually, let me clear out one more plant. And then we're going to build the nexus and the engineering workshop right over here and see if it makes a difference. Like I said, I won't make you sit here and wait all 15 seconds for this thing to be built. We're just going to build it. Right there's good. You've reached level 2. Okay. Interesting. I think I reached level 2 before, so maybe not that interesting. Anyway, let's build the engineering workshop next to it. Over here this time, maybe? Even further away from civilization. Let's do that. And there we go. So we've got that part done. Let's go back to Crystal Shores. Okay, so we're back here, and let's see what we can build. Oh, interesting. We can build another engineering workshop. I wonder if that's even a reasonable thing to do. But hey, that's another question we will get answered today. I'm pretty sure you can get these extractors now. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't have a lake, so we can't do that, but I have these two, so we can get those going. But this is the land where we upgrade things first. So we're going to check that out. We just want to see what we can build for right now. Oh. No, that's an upgraded workshop, not a second workshop. Okay. We can build storage now. Again, here on this land, we're not going to do that until we need to. And then science and others are for later in the game. So I want to get this structure limit up by upgrading the Nexus. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, I don't have the carbon to do that. Interesting. I know where I can get some carbon. But here's what I also want to know. do these things currently max out at 1500 or higher? It looks like by the meters I can go higher with it. So let me take one of my freebies here. And get some of this sweet carbon. Let's see what that did. Did that give me more? Oh, it certainly did. And it just reset these back to their levels. Okay. Good to know. So can I upgrade you now? Well, before I do that, let's make sure I don't completely run out of carbon and screw myself here. So what else am I want to put extractors down. And I will not need carbon for that one. Now the question is, how quickly can I get carbon going? Oh boy. Okay, like I said, this is where we make all of our mistakes. So let me find this out. 1500 to upgrade. God, that's a lot. That's a lot of everything. But that's okay because I have carbon deposits and crystal deposits on my land. How about if I upgrade this? Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot of what I don't have. But let's upgrade this now. I really want to answer that question. Let's do it. And it's going to take 10 minutes. Of course, I will not make you wait. And by the way, most of these videos are not going to be as long as this one is, but you know, this one's got to be long. Now, if you appreciate shorter videos and don't want to watch people play for 2 or 3 hours, that's a personal choice. I kind of like both myself. But if you like this shorter, more to the point style, give me a like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. That's what we do. See you in a bit. Actually, here's a question. If we're building over there and it's taking 10 minutes, can we build over here as well? I think the answer is yes, and that's really cool. So for what we're doing here is we're doing the opposite. Instead of upgrading, we're going to start mining right away. So I have a carbon outcrop. I have a silicon deposit. Let's go ahead and see if we can start mining right now. Certainly can. These things take up a lot of ground, which if you have things that are very close to each other is a bit disturbing. I guess if you ever played Tropico, I don't think you put it right on top, or do you? How's this going to work out? All right, well, can I put it here? No, I can only put it right on top when it comes to carbon. So let's do that and build it. Okay, done with that. And then let's put another one up here. Boom, boom. There's that. Now, what can we do with these? Oh, we can actually mine. Well, let's do that. Looks like it doesn't take too long either. Let's go ahead and burn the candle at both ends here. And do I have enough to put a building over here? I sure do. Now how much? Okay, I got enough. Again, this is the land where we just build stuff for the sake of building stuff. So that's cool. Got all this going. Yeah, it's all about efficiency here, boys and girls. And this is how we do that. And then I want to see what I can do next after this mining cycle is done. Because this is only taking about a minute. We're learning a lot today. Great. I wonder if I want to do it again. How many times can I do this? Now, does anything go down when I do this? Let's take a look up here. Doesn't look like it does. What about when I finish? Look up here. No, it just goes up. So I can just sit there and do this all day? Yeah, let's just keep doing this. If it don't cost nothing, I can just keep doing this until these things get maxed out. And then build storage and then max them out some more. Really? That hardly seems realistic. But that's what we're doing. Again, I'm not going to make you watch all this, but... let's keep going. And will it get past this 1500 threshold? I want to know too. Because that seems to be a maxing out point for some of these things. But then again, I went higher than that with the carbon. Let's see. So curious. Yeah. Okay. I think this game's going to go by pretty quick. If we can just do this all day. But that's a great thing to learn, right? Now, I'm going to stop after this, and we're going to go back to Crystal Shores. But that is a nice little tidbit of information to have. Now, I'm a bit low on this, but my other land has that, but it doesn't really matter here, does it? So if you have a land that has a tier 1 land that has one of each of these, you can just keep right on going. It's almost like having 2 of these at the end of the day might make things go faster, but doesn't really matter. I wonder if that's right or not. That's crazy. Because lands with one of each are going to start selling fast, if I'm right about that. But let's go back to Crystal Shores, now that we've gotten this far, and see what we can do over there. Okay, so our Nexus upgrade is done. Now, see what that allows. Yeah, so now we can build a lot more buildings. Various basic structure types. I'm really curious to see if building a second one of these does anything. So because this is the plot of land where we just build all the basic stuff first, let's do it. Let's make all of our dumb mistakes now, like I said. If this is a waste, at least we know if it is or not. Now with that Nexus upgrade, I wonder if that opens up any more buildings that we couldn't build before. Doesn't really seem to. Okay. So again, this could be totally worthless. But at least we know. Now, because we upgraded the Nexus, we cannibalized ourselves a little bit with this carbon. Let's see if there's any place where we can get more on these goals. Yes. Oh, that's good to know. Sorry about the siren. Simply upgrading the Nexus, you get that, you pretty much get all that carbon back. Plus all this other stuff. So you may as well do it. That's really good to know. I'm glad we did that. So let's claim it. Actually, let's see. I don't want to... because we don't have any storage. I don't want to waste anything here, but I think we won't be doing that. Super good to know. All right, and we still have, we can still go here and here. Yeah, all right. Nice. So score 1 for team upgrade. Now the question remains, can I upgrade this? And if I do that, I can build all this other stuff. Now, it takes a lot of hydrogen to build. So let's check real quick and see if I can get some of that back. Now what's weird is I just claimed this. Is it letting me claim it again? Because if so, this game is totally broken. I don't know. Like I said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's upgrade it. And I'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay, that is done. Now it looks like we can build some other buildings. So to reiterate, on Crystal Shores, we're building out all of the infrastructure around the mines first before we start mining. To where in Shard Bluff, we're just mining as fast as we can. So let's see what else we can build. Again, we can build converters. I don't think there's a need for that now, but what about storage? I'm really interested in doing that. Get more carbon. Hydrogen we don't have, so this is an easy choice. Let's just go ahead and build carbon. Now in terms of location, we'll see if it matters. I think you can move these buildings anywhere you want, right? So for now, we'll put it kind of nearby. And get that going. I'm telling you, if you have a plot with all three of these, I have this sinking feeling that you may never run out. And the game is totally broken. Okay, cool, cool. So what does that do? Does that make our max carbon go higher? Let's find out. Oh, it allows us to sell the carbon on the open market. You can't do that without the silo. Okay. Good to know. Okay, so it looks like it doesn't make my maximum amount of carbon go up. It looks like it's the conduit between the carbon I'm mining and the actual market. Okay. Oh, that's selling the actual structure. Okay, okay. Then maybe I really don't know what it does, but it's there. So we got that. Now in doing that, do we screw ourselves when it came to building these mines? Let's see. Okay, so I can't do anything with crystal deposit mines because I'm low on hydrogen. Okay, let's go back to these goals. Again, we have already claimed this, and now it's back. What happens if I hit the button again? Did I just get all that stuff over again? I did. Yeah, this isn't right. I shouldn't be able to claim twice like that. I mean, it's a good thing to learn. I want more. Gimme for free. Oh, okay. So what they're saying is I already have so much carbon that I'll miss out on X amount because I'm already kind of maxed out on it. Well, if I can just keep hitting this button over and over again, who cares? You know what I mean? Yeah, do it. Yeah, it's broken, but that's okay. Maybe they'll fix it, and if they do, we will report that right here on the channel. But for now, what else can we build? Since we have an unlimited supply of resources, how great is that, right? We're going to build a silo for our crystal. Where do they put these things? They give it to you, but it's always in a random-ass place. Oh, it's right Stupid. All right. That's Hyperion. We want crystal. So like over here. I'll put it close to the buildings. Let's see what that does. Okay. So, I mean, this is so weird. I did not expect to get an unlimited amount of stuff to build with. I mean, we can max out this land. I'm not going to do it all here, but that's crazy. So I leveled up. I don't even know what this means, but it's got to be good, right? And if we had unlimited resources, we can just keep going. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, so that's for hydrogen, which we don't have. Now we have 5 buildings left to build. Here's a question. Can I upgrade this thing again? Yep. So the only thing that's holding us back at this point is time. Interesting. So let's see, what about this? Oh, interesting. Okay, so I can upgrade this, but I'll need way more hydrogen than even my meter can hold. I wonder how we get that higher. Because you can do a lot with it. I think it turns out that 2 of these are totally unnecessary. So it's good to know that now. But guys, I'm at a loss at what to do here. Again, screw it. Let's upgrade this. It's going to take an hour, but you know, there's nothing else we can really do here. So let's just let this go and go back to Shard Bluff. Okay, here at Shard Bluff, where the mining is forever. And doesn't even take that long. So the only thing stopping you is having these things all maxed out. Okay. So I guess what we can do is go here. Now this is interesting. This allows you to see what stage things are on. So these are all level 1. The resource that you get from these things, which we already know. And the efficiency. Interesting to know that we are at 100% efficiency with all of this. Now I wonder if we can make that go up. So from what I understand, if you build paths around things, efficiency goes higher. So while we're here, let's do that. Oh, you have to click on every square. Okay. You can't drag it. Which is weird because I need to get here. Okay. Doesn't appear to. What if I were to build a pathway here? Nothing so far. Okay. Interesting, interesting. But again, the craziest thing about all this is how you can just claim all day. I don't know if it's broken on this one, but it was certainly broken on Crystal Shores. And honestly, everybody, I think we have answered most of the questions we really need answered. I don't think there's any reason to make this thing go any longer. Let's go revisit those questions and see if we have answers. So, where do I put the Nexus? It doesn't seem to make a difference right now. And we don't know that question just yet, but what we do know is if you upgrade the Nexus, somehow you get an unlimited amount of claims to boost up your resources. But even without that, I think one of the biggest things we've learned is you're going to get all of the resources that you use to upgrade the Nexus back as a reward. So just go ahead and do it, no matter what. Make that one of the first things you do. Storage, we didn't really answer that question yet. It's a little sketchy. I think that that question will be answered later, and maybe not even in Illuvium Zero Alpha. We put a bunch of storage sheds up on Crystal Shores, but yeah, I guess we don't really know what they're going to do until we have the mines and the storage going at the same time. So we'll probably answer that question tomorrow. Clearing all the plants, I don't know. I would probably just do it, just to have them out of the way and to have those extra tokens. And how necessary are converters? Well, if you can just hit the claim button over and over again and get as many resources as you want, then converters are completely unnecessary for right now. So there you go. I hope that answers some questions. I am going to play around with some of the other lands that I have and build those up a bit. And we will look at those and revisit Crystal Shores and Shard Bluff in the next video. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you had a great time. And the pleasure is all mine. Love bringing this to you. We'll see you down the road.